Good morning, everyone. I think I woke everyone up, and just in case that you were sleeping, which I doubt, right? I'd like to welcome everybody. So again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lizzie Newsom, and I am the proud principal of Memorial Middle School. It is my honor to welcome you to LISD's Memorial Day ceremony hosted by the LISD Board of Trustees. At this time, I would like to introduce to you our Master of Ceremonies, who served 3.5 years of active duty in the U.S. Army and is currently still serving in the United States Navy Reserves, our very own Chief of Police for the Laredo Independent School District, Mr. Richard Palomo.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to serve as your Master of Ceremonies as we recall members of the U.S. military service who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. At this time, I ask to please rise for the invocation to be given today by Memorial Middle School student Frida Trevino.
Today, we are here to honor those that have served our country and given their lives so that we may stand here and still live in freedom. We need to be constantly reminded of our gift of freedom and of those who gave all to make sure future generations continue to know life in a free, democratic society. Remembering those who have passed is only half of the task that is before us today. We must also carry their love, honor, and duty forward to the future generations that will pass. Our children must know who they were, what they did, and why they did it. To do anything less will be a disservice to their sacrifice and their memories. Those that are gone created a clear pathway for us to continue on. We must never waver from that path of freedom and democracy. Take their memories, take their dreams, and walk forward shouldering the cause of freedom. Carry it high and proud. They did, and now you must walk forward for them and for our children.
Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the LISD Police Department, LISD High School's Junior ROTC Color Guard, under the direction of Sergeant Roberto Crosco. The national anthem will be performed by the Memorial Middle School Eagle Band, under the direction of Mr. Wes Evans. The pledge of allegiance will be held by Memorial student Rochelle Aliades.
Oh, word, art.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Salute. Oath. Salute. Three and up. Order. Up. Oath. Forward. Arch.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce our dignitaries to join us this morning. Please help me welcome the Board of Trustees of the Laredo Independent School District, represented by the Honorable Jesus Martinez, Secretary of the Board. Superintendent of Schools for LISD, Dr. Marcus Nelson. Webb County Judge, the Honorable Ano Tejerina. Former LISD Board Member, John Peter Montalvo and Ms. Montalvo. I ask that all veterans join us today. Please rise and be recognized. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this special Thursday morning. We have a special guest with us this morning who will be addressing you. Today's speaker traveled to Laredo from Austin to be with us this morning. She has had a distinguished career with the United States Army and is now with the Texas Army National Guard. Most recently, she is heading Operation Crackdown, where suspected crack houses and eyesores are demolished by the National Guard, an effort to keep our neighborhoods safe and drug-free. She is commander of the Texas Army National Guard's Counter-Drug Task Force. Please give a great welcome to Colonel Suzanne Ackerson.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here. So let's first talk about Memorial Day and really what that means. So about 1868, General Logan decided that, there should be a day somewhere that should be celebrated for all of our service members, soldiers, airmen, Marines, Coast Guard, any of the service members that have fallen protecting this country. And so he thought that the 30th day of May would be a good day because that's when all the flowers are blooming. And they called it Decoration Day. So towns would get together all over the country and they would decorate the graves of the fallen, the ones that paid the ultimate sacrifice. So that over time began to be called Memorial Day. And then the Congress passed an act 1968 enacted in 1971 that determined that it is Memorial Day and it's the last Monday in May. So many cities, such as yours, honor the veterans and have parades or some type of an organization and talk about those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. So I'd like to go into a sad story, but it's a good story. And it's about a soldier that was in Afghanistan. So they're in a little place called Ghazni, and they're out on a patrol, and they're coming back. They're coming back to their base. And there's 5 of them in an up-armored Humvee. One's the turret gunner, and there's 2, a driver and a driver, his co-driver, and 2 guys in the back. And they're talking about this one particular Humvee, and this column of Humvees had a bad axle. So they knew this particular stretch of road that they were coming up on had IEDs on it over periodically. It had proved explosive device on it occasionally, but enough to be concerned to have that conversation. And so what they decided to do was, we're not going to go off in the wadis and go cross country because we got this bad axle. So they were concerned if that Humvee actually broke down, they'd be stuck out after dark, which would cause all kinds of additional angst. So, off they go down the road. The kid's Humvee that hit it, the Humvee was cut in half. And so the driver and the A-driver were killed instantaneously. The turret gunner was thrown free of the vehicle, and the turret fell on his leg. That caused all kinds of surgeries to happen. And the 2 in the back, the interpreter, one of them was an interpreter. He ended up being observed overnight. And the other soldier had some minor injuries that caused him to be returned. So I say all that to tell you that the soldier, I was a brigade commander at the time, so we're bringing back our 2 fallen and we're bringing back our 2 injured. So I'm trying to get them out of Central Region, but they got to be fit, and then I got to get my 2 soldiers back home to final resting place. So we do a lot of family type, not necessarily intervention, but the families that we went out to provide service to. Gabe Green's had 2 daughters. They were 3 and 6. So the 3-year-old doesn't really know what's going on around, doesn't really understand it. The 6-year-old kind of gets that daddy's not coming home, and did that daddy pay the ultimate sacrifice? But the families at that service, so we're at the service, I sent an escort officer out to pick him up and bring him back from the East Coast, bring him back to his final resting place. The service at the church was phenomenal. So the Freedom Riders, many of you have heard about that, right? The guys with the motorcycles with the flags, and they come, and if there's some opposition to a war, they would stand in interference of that. In this case, this is a little bitty town about an hour south and east of San Antonio. And we walked out and put the casket in the hearse. There must have been 150 of them, and this is a small town, so the cemetery is not but a mile away. But then we've got to lead, the Freedom Riders are leading us, and we've got to go an extra couple of mile loop to get everybody in line to get to the cemetery. Absolutely amazing. So we get back to, we do the graveside service. He's full military honor, so we've got the guns out there, the flag folding, and all of that, and it's sad. But the veterans and his service members that served with him understood. That's a mindset. It's a mindset for the service members to want to serve, and will take that ultimate sacrifice if that's what happens. And I know every one of you have a story such as that one, like Gabe. We get back from the gravesite and we go back to the church into the annex for a meal. And I had asked one of the soldiers that was injured, not badly, he's still in a wheelchair, but he's pretty much ambulatory. I had asked him, hey, the service is this time, if you can come, that might help Gabe's family with some closure, that might help you with some closure, because you always wonder, how come it wasn't me? How come it was him? How come it wasn't my turn? And they're all in the same vehicle. And so he did, he came, and so he's in his wheelchair, and not an appropriate time during the service of the gravesite, but now we're in the annex and we're all having a meal. So I'm trying to get to you, and you couldn't, it was just wall-to-wall bodies. The entire town is that. And many, many military members. So I asked him, I finally get myself up to his wife and I said, you know, I have one of the guys that was in the vehicle when your husband was killed here with us in the church. And if you'd like to meet him, he would really like to meet you. And she absolutely wanted to meet him. So we waved our way through the crowd. And the embrace was forever. He got himself up out of the chair. Got a dry eye in the room. And it's those kind of moments where, you know, the whole family's going to be okay. The community's taking care. It's hard, it's painful, and it hurts. But they're all there for one another. And the service members are the ones that, I mean, it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood, it's a team, it's a lifestyle that people are willing to make to have that ultimate sacrifice. And so, I wouldn't be sad, I'd be celebratory, is what I'm trying to say. Honor those vets. And the ones that are still in the room, the world is a whole lot different now. When we started the Afghanistan, well, Iraq first and then Afghanistan wars, the whole public, the citizens of the United States, very, very different than when our guys were coming back from Vietnam. Vietnam era vets were spit on, they were ridiculed, they didn't get a choice to go. They went because they were drafted. These days, okay, yes, if you're a male and you're 18, you have to go register, but you're not going to get drafted. I would never see that we were going to do that again. So we volunteer. These days, even in the 15 years that we've been doing this, these days, people still recognize uniform members. People still in Austin will buy a cup of coffee to a service member. Standing there in a uniform, you have to be an obvious thing. But even if the citizens of the United States don't like the war in Afghanistan or Iraq, they support the service member. And that's the biggest change between the Vietnam era now, or then, and the soldiers and airmen and the rest of the service members. I say soldiers because I'm a soldier. It's a huge climate shift, or it's a huge citizenship. They don't have to like the war, but they support the soldiers in the war and the rest of the branches. So, there's less than 1% of you guys, all these vets, less than 1% of the United States population, less than 1% serve. Which is kind of it's kind of an honor, I think. So I was one of those that grew up as a Navy brat, and my dad was a fighter pilot, so he was kind of crazy. You know, the flyboys are kind of nuts. Well, he was that guy. He retired when I was 8. And so he was one of those kind of guys who stayed in for 28 years and retired. And he was one that would move, and he was active duty, so we moved about every 2 years. Well, he loved that. My mom, not so much, and my sister, not so much, but that's cool. Sex, that's an adventure. Life's an adventure, right? You make it whatever you want to make it. So, we would move about every 2 years. He thought, after 28 years of flying really fast jets, that he could go to an island and sell real estate with his uncle. Okay, well, that was a non-starter. He hated it. So he decided he would go back and become he'd get his private pilot's license, his commercial pilot's license, his instrumentation rating, all of that kind of stuff. And so, at some point in that, so I'm about, I guess, 10 now. In all of that, I mean, you grew up in the mindset that they did it back then for love of God and country. And so that was kind of instilled in me early. And of course, I'm kind of the black sheep. I went Army, he was Navy, big football game. So we had fun on those football weekends. But I'll tell you kind of a goofy story, because I'd like to I'm going to turn this around and have a funny story, and then I'm going to talk to you guys in the back about some things that I think that you ought to be thinking about. So, he is a commercial pilot for a big corporation. Well, not that big, but anyway, he does those kind of things, and then he taught at a junior college instrumentation rating and all those kind of, so he gets interested in soaring. So he becomes qualified as a soaring instructor, and he also flies the tow plane. Well, I had just graduated. He came out to pin me, Fort Benning. He calls me a 90-day wonder because the school is 90 days. He did the real way. Okay, so we get out. I graduate. My parents come out. He pins me. I drive home. They fly home. So I decided I'm going to go visit my parents that weekend. And I drive out to the house and, hey, Mom, where's Dad? Oh, he's up in somewhere in Nevada at a soaring meet. Okay, well, maybe I'll go up there and try to help. So I drive 4 hours up to somewhere in Nevada to this soaring meet. And gliders, they've got really, really long wings. And they sit on the tarmac like this. So he sees me and he says, I got a job for you. So he's got me running the wing, right? So the idea is, the tow plane's up there, it's hooked to a big rope, you standing by the glider, you're holding the wing, and you run. Until you can't run any faster and the thing goes up in the air. Okay, so we do that for like all afternoon. And he comes in and he says, hey, I've got this kid, he's ready to solo. My dad trained him. He's ready to solo, but he's never done it yet. Want to go up with him? Sure, you train him, you say he's ready, he's ready. So I jump in. So one behind the other. So the kid's in the seat right here, and I'm behind him. And up we go. Really, really cool. Never been in a glider before. I always thought I should fly. Never had any interest in flying. But anyway, so we go up in the air, and whatever the elevation is that you're supposed to release, the kid releases, and you can feel that. So you don't feel any drag from the tow plane. You're floating. And the idea is to find cumulus clouds, you move little circles, you get lift, you go up higher. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so we're doing this, ding, 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 so we go around in circles for, it seems like forever. And it's beautiful, it's quiet. So I'm looking out, because we're coming down now, he can't find any more cumulus clouds. And I'm looking out, we're getting closer and closer to the runway, but we're not quite there. And I'm looking at the field around it, it's flat, nothing in it. And pretty soon he says, ah! I said, what? What's the matter? Ah! Well, I can't even see him. I'm looking at the seat back. What is the matter? I don't think we're going to make the runway. I mean, come on. It's built like this thing was a trainer. It's built like a tank. Just keep the nose up. It can land in the field. It's flat. We'll be fine. Ah! So we just barely make pavement. And we come rolling in. And here comes my dad. Man, I didn't think y'all were going to hit the pavement. Neither did he. Anyway, so that's my little story. I'd like to say thank you very much to all the vets here. You guys paved the way for us. I had it absolutely easy. People welcome me when you come back from theater. People welcome those that are coming back now. And we have a whole lot better services. Veterans Administration, I know I was watching the news last night. Okay, they're trying to revamp it, and it's a federal process, so it's not very timely, and there's all kinds of angst in trying to get it better, but they're making the processes better, and that will be better for everybody. But it's you guys that I thank for being able here to stand up here today and do what I do. For you kids in the back, because it's all about you guys. It's your future. You guys here in the next several years will be graduated from high school, off to college, the workforce, the military, or whatever your life plans is. And I came across something the other day, retired DEA agent, on LinkedIn, funny enough. I'm on LinkedIn and I find this thing, and I thought, you know, I've used this now once this week already to my soldiers and airmen in the National Guard Counter-Drug Program who are up in Austin in their training. But it's something to keep in mind as you become adults and as you become workforce members or college people or service members or whatever it is you're going to do. So these are 10 things that require zero, hey, you got to listen to me up there. These are 10 things that require zero talent. 10 things. And this applies to everybody. And I'm telling my soldiers who are, well, E9 and below, 10 things that require zero talent, you guys. Number 1, being on time. Okay, so teachers know that being on time is important, and there's some repercussions for not being on time, but being on time, that's number 1. Number 2 is work ethic. Okay? It's work ethic. So you're actually working when you're supposed to be working. That's all that means. Effort. That you put forth your best effort in anything that you do. Anything that you do. Body language. We know when we look angry, we know when we look upset, we know when we're happy, and that's all telltale signs by how you hold yourself in public, in front of people. Body language. Energy. You can always have energy. That you're upbeat about what it is that you're supposed to be doing, that you're upbeat about the job that you have, that you're upbeat about your homework assignments, upbeat about, I'm going to have to make my bed and I forgot to really get those kind of things, all those things. Attitude. You know, we get two kinds of people in this world, at least I think we do. Those that have their glasses half empty, or those that their glasses half full. It's all about how attitude, how you look at it. That half-empty guy is always kind of pessimistic and hard to get things done and always complaining about something, oh, it's so hot, or I don't want to wear this jacket, or I'm whatever. But half-empty, are you half-empty or are you half-full? Half-full is a better answer. Passion. Have a passion for what you do. Like what you do, want to do the best that you can do with whatever that thing is. Doesn't matter what the thing is. But whatever the thing is, do the best thing that you can do. Be coachable. Nobody likes that kid that thinks he knows everything. Could be sober, doesn't have to be a kid, but nobody likes the person that knows everything, that thinks they know everything. You can't talk to them because they're going to tell you, oh yeah, I know that. Or, well, I would do it this way. Be coachable. Everybody's got an idea. Doesn't mean yours is the best one, but if you don't allow anybody else to voice theirs, you'll never know if there's a bad one. Do extra. Do an extra. Number 9, do an extra. Okay, so if you have a task and you are working and your task takes you half the day, don't sit there the other half of the day doing nothing. Go find another task. Be helpful, be out there, go do more. You could always do more. There's always going to be another day to work, but you can always do more than what you've done. And number 10 is be prepared. Always be prepared. Own the responsibility that your actions cause, and be prepared to do the next step. So that's what I have for you young people in the room today. So again, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me to come down here. I love it down here. I lived here for 2 years, oh, by the way, so I did never tell you that. 90 to 92, we had in the counter drug program, 1990 to 1992. Y'all aren't even born yet, but we lived in hotels at the time, so we were T to I to our location. I worked for DEA as an intel analyst and went to Laredo State University on West End, Washington Street. That kind of dates it. And the difference in the city is ginormous from then to now. It really, really, really has grown. So I always like coming down here, so when somebody gives me an opportunity to come, I like to speak. You probably figured that out. So, and I can tell stories all day, just so you know. But I thank you very much, and to you veterans again, thank you for making the way it is today. It was all about you guys.
Thank you, Colonel Atkinson. We honor us with your presence. And now, I'd like to call up to the podium our LISD Board of Trustee Secretary, Mr. Jesus Martinez.
Good morning, everybody. My fellow veterans, on behalf of the Laredo schools, I want to thank you for your service. And don't forget, we are the protectors of democracy. Look around in the community, see what things are going wrong, and get involved. We earned it, and we can do something about it. Check it out. Do something else. I ran for school board. Montalvo ran for school board. If there's anything we can do for the students in our community, we'll do it, and we'll press for it. We will not back out. So again, thank you for your service, and welcome to our schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Our county judge, Donna Tejanina, would also like to greet our audience this morning.
Thank you so much. I usually have a message. Generally, if everybody knows me, the ones that have heard me, I never read. I usually have a message that comes from the heart. But you know, first of all, I'd like to say, Dr. Nelson, Colonel, Mrs. Newsom, and all you veterans, thank you so much. Thank you. And today we're here more importantly because of the fallen soldiers. And 2 days ago, I walked up to my office, and on my chair there was this exact piece of paper, and it was a story, and it said, "I'm home." And I didn't read it the day before yesterday. I actually read it yesterday afternoon. And when I found out that I was going to be coming today, I thought it would be fitting. So if you would indulge me, it takes a little time, but I think it's fitting at this time. I am home. It was Saturday morning. My alarm clock went off at 6:30 a.m. My father and my mother had gotten up early. I couldn't hear them talking in the kitchen. My mother was fixing breakfast for my father and me. After breakfast, I went to the room with my brothers, and then to the room with my sisters, and quietly said goodbye to them. It was Saturday, and they didn't have school that day. That was fast. They were fast asleep. After I got ready to leave, I said goodbye to my mother. With tears in my eyes, she told me to be careful, and that she would be praying for me. She gave her blessings. My father drove me to the Greyhound bus station. It was 8 in the morning. At the bus station, there were 4 other young men waiting for their bus, just like me. They must have been 18, 19, or 20 years old. They were all with their families. One was with their girlfriend. And finally, around 9 o'clock, the bus came. I said my goodbyes to my dad. He hugged and he said, "I'm very proud of you, son." We boarded the bus and we were leaving. We waved goodbye to all the families. As we were leaving, we passed by the town plaza with its beautiful lighted water fountains, by the local bakery, and then where they sell the best biscuits in the world, the high school where I graduated, from the Civic Center where the old Washington baseball park used to be, the fire station at the corner. At a distance, high above the rooftops, I could see the church steeple of the church that I attended. Finally, the old drive-in theater where we used to go in for $1 a carload plus the guys in the trunk. As we were leaving, I looked back through the rear window of the bus as my hometown was slowly disappearing from view, wondering if I could ever see my family, my friends, or my hometown again. About 2.5 hours later, we finally got to the bus station. At the bus station, there was a van waiting for the young men and me to make our final destination, an induction center. The building was the size of a school gymnasium with bleachers. There were already a lot of other young men from across the state waiting on the bleachers. We were given a sack lunch and we were told to wait on the bleachers and the other young men. About an hour later, a soldier came with a clipboard. And on the clipboard was a list with all the names of all of us. I knew he was a soldier because he had a uniform under stripes and each side of his sleeves and ribbons on his chest. Above his left side pocket, he started reading the names on the clipboard and would tell us which branch of service we were going to go into. Of the 4 young men that came with me on the bus, 2 were sent to the Army, 1 to the Navy, 1 to the Air Force. As for me, I guess I was lucky. I was sent to the Marines. I never did see those 4 young men again after that. However, I did think of them on and off. I thought of what had become of them, where they were, what they are doing, and if I would ever see them again. All the time during my training, we were told that of every 5 of us that was sent to the front lines, that 1 of us was not going to make it back. Well, I guess my luck ran out. I was that one. I was there when they brought my flag draped coffin home. I was there at the funeral home when my parents, brothers, and sisters, family and friends came to pay their respects. When I was taken to the cemetery, I was there, standing at attention with my dress blues on, my brass polished, my shoes spit shined and saluting the flag. I was there when the Honor Guard fired a 21 gun salute, when they played taps, and when my Marines presented my parents with the American flag from the President of the United States and a grateful nation for the service of my country. It's been over 45 years now. My parents, now in their 80s, with their gray hair, have been coming to the Veterans Cemetery every year on Memorial Day. My dad walking with the help of a walker and my mom holding on to him for support. A marriage made in heaven. My brothers and sisters, last time I saw them, they were young kids, younger than me. Now they are husbands and wives and their kids of their own. My youngest brother, I never did get to know him. He was born when I was away. Is here with his wife and kids. I never had time to tell them how much I love them. I just want them to know that I am very proud of them, that I love them so much, and that the one day we all see each other again, we'll be together forever. All my relatives and friends are here. Veterans from all different branches of services are here. All are here to honor us and pay their respect. They come every Memorial Day and I see them. I see those young men. They went with me on the bus. They are here with their wives and kids to pay their respect. They are living my hopes and dreams of getting married, raising a family, and being a productive member of a community. They made it back. You know that. So did I. I made it back. I am here. I am home. Sergeant Arellano, Vietnam veteran, United States Marine Corps. Thank you so much for dropping us off. I read it because I want us to all understand what every single one of these soldiers went through. And I'm talking to the students right now. I'd like for your undivided attention, please, if you'll indulge me for 5 minutes, 2 more minutes. I think it's very important, especially for our younger generation, when you happen to see, like the Colonel said, when you happen to see a vet, when you happen to see somebody that served for your country, that died, or that fought for your freedom that you have, the freedom that you have to sit there, I ask that you will salute and you will thank them from the bottom of your heart. Like myself, I am not a soldier. But I have family members, my grandfathers, that all served, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of these men for serving. And today is a day that we remember our fallen soldiers. So please, when you see someone in a uniform, thank them, God bless them, and pray for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge. Our instructional leader places a great emphasis on patriotism and citizenship. Please welcome to the podium the Superintendent, Laredo ISD Schools, Dr. Marcus Nelson.
Good morning. Honorable County Judge, members of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Martinez, Colonel Atkinson, and our men and women of the hour, our special guests, our local veterans who we share our public schools with and really make an emphasis to teach. Generation Z is what they're called. A group of young people who will be tasked with remembering the importance of patriotism, service to our beloved country. I would like to thank Ms. Newsom and Memorial Middle School for putting together this annual event, the Department of Communications. This, without a question, is an annual event that is significant for us. I cannot emphasize the words that have been expressed by our keynote speaker, Colonel Atkinson, and our Honorable County Judge. But I would simply emphatically declare that teaching our kids about the men and women who have fought some who have died, is more than a priority. It is something that we have to perpetuate into future generations. Since my arrival into this great city, Laredo, I've been reminded of how important our veterans are to this community. Without getting into all the specifics of it, you all know there was a day and age where per capita, pound for pound, in this little 12 square miles, most of the people in this community were going off to serve our country. And at Martin High School or Nixon High School, Sigador wasn't even here at the time. We had to make this sad part of our city, bringing our men and women home. And as Colonel Atkinson said, our cemetery is filled with honorable veterans who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice. As we go through this next part of our program, I'm reminded of the names that will be called. And as our students proclaim that they are here, as our county judge says that they are home, those names will never be forgotten. We will always remember those members of our community who have served our country in any capacity. And we will never forget those who gave their life. And on behalf of our students today, the adults that work with our students, we say thank you. We appreciate your service. And there's not words that can express how proud we are to live in a community that has valiant people like you in it. I'm so proud to work with people like our police chief, who also serves our country still to this day. I work with lots of members of the armed forces, in our police force, in our teaching ranks, on our board of trustees, and the list goes on and on. So as we go into this roll call, and they start to respond when a name is called. Here, sir. I just want you to know, for me, that is important. It's important that we do this. And if there's anything our school district can do to help our local veterans, we stand ready to partner with you in any way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. And now I invite Memorial Middle School students Frida Trevino, Rochelle Olivares, and Katrina Hayes to conduct the formal roll call of our prisoners of war, missing in action, remembrance, and fallen heroes. And sing for our fallen heroes, our ROTC cadets from Martin, Nixon, and Saylor High Schools.
The table set for one is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner, alone against his captors. The table is dressed in white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions, and responds to our country's call in arms. The juice of lemons on a barren plate remind us of a bitter fate. The salt sprinkled upon its significance, the countless tears fallen of family as you wait. The glass inverted and empty, symbolic of the plight of a prisoner, deprived of a man's most basic need, a gift of water. A rose to remind us of the blood shed in sacrifice, to ensure the freedom of this beloved land. The candle lit to light and show a ray of hope, to illuminate their way home, away from their captors and into the open arm of a grateful nation. God bless America. World War I. Maurice Akabax.
Present.
George Bigden.
Present.
Adam Gold.
Present.
Moises Carrejo.
Present.
Jack Carew.
Present.
Alfred J. Casinu.
Present.
Leonard Diaz.
Present.
Luis F. Folsom.
Present.
Francisco Garcia.
Present.
Benjamin Hastings.
Present.
William H. Lake.
Present.
Miles Little.
Present.
Edmundo Lopez.
Present.
Luke W. Loftus.
Present.
Lorenzo Rendon.
Present.
J.P. Rossi.
Present.
Christine K. Smith.
Present.
Dewey Tillman.
Present.
Percy R. Winch.
Present.
Charles E. Woodall.
Present.
Jose Ibarra.
Present.
Jose Zamora.
Present.
David Barkley Cantu, recipient Medal of Honor.
Present.
Guillermo Abrego.
Present.
John B. Alexander.
Present.
Juan Alvarez.
Present.
Enrique Ambrose.
Present.
Joseph Roger Amparan.
Present.
Jesus F. Ayala.
Present.
Daniel Barrera.
Present.
Paul C. Bopin.
Present.
Benigno Benavides Jr.
Present.
Edward C. Pobel.
Present.
Andrew Brubaker.
Present.
Cesar Cavazos.
Present.
Rodolfo Cavazos.
Present.
Jesús Chapa Badio.
Present.
Andrés Cisneros.
Present.
Robert F. Clark.
Present.
John C. Conley.
Present.
Joaquin Cortez.
Present.
Frank P. Doherty Jr.
Present.
Eduardo Davila.
Present.
Luis de Goleado.
Present.
Edward D. de la Chica.
Present.
Cristobal de la Garza.
Present.
José de la Paz.
Present.
Alfonso A. del Barrio.
Present.
Jesús Dimas.
Present.
Emil Henry Doy.
Present.
Kyle N. Drake.
Present.
Manuel Escamilla.
Present.
Cuauhtémoc P. Escobedo.
Present.
Luis Estrada.
Present.
Alfonso R. Flores.
Present.
Alfredo Flores.
Present.
Candelario Flores.
Present.
Gilberto Flores.
Present.
Reyes Flores Jr.
Present.
Socorro Flores.
Present.
José Gallegos.
Present.
Conrado Gamboa.
Present.
George A. Gaona.
Present.
Alfredo García.
Present.
Conrado García.
Present.
Erasmo García.
Present.
Esteban García Jr.
Present.
José García Jr.
Present.
Pablo García.
Present.
Reinaldo García.
Present.
Tomás García.
Present.
Amadeo R. Garza.
Present.
José C. de León.
Present.
Pascual de León.
Present.
Trinidad J. Díaz.
Present.
Faustino Garza.
Present.
Guadalupe H. Garza.
Present.
Jesús D. Garza.
Present.
Vicente Garza Jr.
Present.
Paus Antonio Gil.
Present.
Rinfino Gil.
Present.
Arturo González.
Present.
Bernardo M. González.
Present.
Ernesto González.
Present.
Fulgencio R. González.
Present.
Gladier Héctor González.
Present.
Juan González.
Present.
Manuel P. González.
Present.
Pedro González.
Present.
Julián Granados.
Present.
Frank E. Grony.
Present.
Luis B. Guerra.
Present.
Luis Guerra.
Present.
Margarito J. Guerrero.
Present.
Novi Guevara.
Present.
Carlos P. Gust.
Present.
Santiago R. Gutierrez.
Present.
Edward F. Haynes.
Present.
Florentino B. Hernández.
Present.
Salvador T. Hernández.
Present.
Santiago Hernández.
Present.
Joe Kirkpatrick.
Present.
Mario Leal.
Present.
Thomas R. Leary.
Present.
Antonio Lerma Jr.
Present.
Federico C. Linares.
Present.
Philip D. Lisner.
Present.
Alvarado Lopez.
Present.
Enrique Luna Jr.
Present.
Fred Luna.
Present.
George T. Mayer.
Present.
A.J. Mann.
Present.
Peter Marinos.
Present.
Cruz L. Marquez.
Present.
Alberto Martínez.
Present.
Alejo Martínez.
Present.
Antonio Martínez.
Present.
Francisco Martínez.
Present.
Julio Martínez.
Present.
Jesús U. Martínez.
Present.
Victor P. Martínez.
Present.
Salvador Marosco.
Present.
Howard L. McFarland.
Present.
Guillermo Mendoza.
Present.
Domingo Mendoza.
Present.
Enrique Mendoza.
Present.
Hector S. Molina.
Present.
Ernesto Montoya.
Present.
Francisco R. Mora.
Present.
Ross M. Morales.
Present.
Jesus Moreno.
Present.
Robert F. Mum.
Present.
Jose M. Munoz.
Present.
Raulita Murphy.
Present.
Joseph Neil Naranjo.
Present.
Baltasar Portales Nieto.
Present.
Fred G. Ochoa.
Present.
Horacio J. Palacios.
Present.
Sócrates S. Papas.
Present.
Manuel G. Pedrosa.
Present.
Ignacio Peña.
Present.
José M. Peña.
Present.
Patricio Peña.
Present.
Waldo L. Peña.
Present.
Pedro L. Pérez.
Present.
Simón R. Pérez.
Present.
Delmar D. Pollock.
Present.
Joaquín Ponce.
Present.
Louis Puster.
Present.
Juan G. Quintero.
Present.
Francisco S. Ramírez.
Present.
Calvin Earl Randolph.
Present.
Charles E. Randolph.
Present.
Jesús Rentería.
Present.
Domingo Reyes.
Present.
Alejandro Reina.
Present.
Jerónimo Rodríguez Jr.
Present.
Ramiro Rodríguez.
Present.
Simón Rodulfo.
Present.
Domingo Sáenz.
Present.
Alfredo Sánchez.
Present.
Santiago Sánchez Jr.
Present.
Manuel Sandoval.
Present.
Thomas Q. Scott.
Present.
Leslie Skaggs.
Present.
Kirby J. Smith Sr.
Present.
Valente J. Solis.
Present.
Marion Brandon Tarvin Jr.
Present.
Ricardo S. Urdiales.
Present.
Lauro Uribe.
Present.
Cipriano S. Vaca.
Present.
Luis Balls.
Present.
Jose W. Vasquez Jr.
Present.
Robert Volpe.
Present.
Hinton B. Wright.
Present.
Ricardo Says.
Present.
Trinidad P. Ramírez.
Present.
José C. Ramón.
Present.
Pedro V. Ramos.
Present.
Joe J. Hogan.
Present.
Martín Jaime.
Present.
Gilberto M. Juárez.
Present.
Antonio Picasa Mercado.
Present.
Constantin Mintz Jr.
Present.
Mariano Arredondo.
Present.
Javier H. Ayala.
Present.
Alfredo Cantú.
Present.
Ricardo Castor Jr.
Present.
Joseph M. Castro.
Present.
Lonnie B. Flowers.
Present.
Vaz Frausto.
Present.
Humberto Garza, Oscar González, José Roberto Gutiérrez, Lucio J. Gutiérrez, Gustavo Hernández, Francisco H. Izquierdo, Amado Leal, Quintín Maravillo, Romero M. Martínez, Jesús Mendiola, Oscar M. Morales, Arnoldo V. Reina, Alfredo Sánchez, José Sánchez, Cayetano Sosa, Missing in Action, Crescencio Garcia Jr., Ruben Garza, Paul H. Gloria, Herschel H. Rosell Jr., Alfredo T. Treviño, Julio Villarreal, Vietnam War, John Adam Avera, Florentino Cantú Jr., Juan Carrillo, Pedro J. Caudillo, Dieter W. Dietz, Juan Flores, Everardo Galindo Jr., Alejandro García Jr., Antonio García, Heriberto A. García, José Salustrano Garza, Juan José González, Rodolfo G. González, Steven Hernández, Armando Leal Jr., Nathan James Mann, Guadalupe Martínez, Juan Andrés Martínez, Fidel Padilla, Homero Pérez, William Val Billy Reed, Arturo Salazar, Javier Arturo Sánchez, José C. Santos, Jorge Sosa, Ignacio Torres Jr., Reinaldo Torres Jr., Raúl Villa, Desert Storm, Edward Sheffield, Luis Delgado, Iraqi Freedom, Michael Raúl Barrera, José Rodrigo Rodríguez, Roberto Arizola Jr., Belton Locklear III,
Thank you, students. And now we invite our board members to assist in placing a wreath of flowers in memory of our fallen heroes. I would like to call up Memorial Middle School student Rochelle Olivares to close with benediction, followed by the retirement of colors.
We remember today all those who have come before us and given the greatest gift to our democratic nation, their lives. Their duty, their honor, and their lives are precious gifts that must be given to the future of our country and our families. The duty of our veterans, past and present, is the fiber of the word freedom, and is stronger by our recognition of service and sacrifice. We honor that service and sacrifice today and should carry it forward for our children to honor. Freedom and democracy are the results of all the most honorable this country has produced. Today we stand to remember the most honorable amongst us all, and we must continue to carry the burden of their sacrifice, lest we lose sight of what true freedom is. Today is for remembering. Stand in honor of them. Walk in their path of duty. Remember the cost and hold in your heart the cost of freedom. We remember today, Memorial Day, our veterans.
Please remain standing. Honor guard, regard the colors.
Honor guard. Out. Right. Ace. Forward. Arch. Out. Ace. Forward. Arch.
You may be seated. At this time, I want to welcome to the podium the Laredo Veterans Coalition, who would like to present the school with a flag. Mr. Sandoval.
This won't take long. I know that our students back there are anxious to get back to their class. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Nelson, School Board President, Mr. Martinez, Justin Herena, Chief Palomo, Ms. Newsom, and Colonel Atkinson for making this a very memorable day for us. We look forward every year to be present at this ceremony. Believe me, we do. And before I continue with this plaque that we want to present to the school, I want to recognize a couple of our, what we call the greatest generation era veterans. Hilario Cavazos, greatest generation soldiers. We also have present here today our Korean War veterans. Would you please stand up? Mr. Raza, Mr. Chirafa, Mr. Sanchez, and Mr. Nanez. Thank you, sir. Most of us are Vietnam veterans here, and this generation of veterans call us punks, okay? Even though we're almost 70 years old, they still call us punks, and we love it. Anyway, Mr. Sandoval has created a plaque here for the school. Let me read it. On the left side, it says, Memorial Middle School. The M stands for making veterans proud of our school. The E, excellence, is our goal. The M, making a difference one day at a time. O, others imitate us, but cannot duplicate us. R, reflects like a light in the darkness. I, incredible are our accomplishments. A, admired, accepted, and highly respected. L, love for our school, our greatest blessing. For the word middle, the M, making good choices in order to succeed. I, inspiring each other to excel. D, doing our best, nothing less. D, dedicated, devoted, and determined. L, learning to make this a better world. E, enriched our school with acts of kindness. On the school, the S, sincere, bold, and determined. The C, committed to be the best always. H, highest level of performance, our goal. O, others ask what happened. We make it happen. O, oriented to be one of a kind, be the best. L, love for our school is the reason for our success. Thank you again on behalf of the Laredo Veterans Coalition and all the other veterans present here today.
Thank you, Mr. Sandoval. Thank you, Rochelle. Now invite Memorial Middle School Assistant Principal, Ms. Silvia Cantu, to the podium for closing remarks.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this morning. On behalf of Ms. Lissy Newsom, we would like to thank our Memorial Middle School teachers and staff that make this program possible today. It is truly an honor to have our invited guests and our veterans here this morning, visiting our school. Your presence means so much to us. I now invite you to our reception, which is behind this wall. Please enjoy the refreshments and the company of our veterans. Thank you so much.